On today's episode, we've got early reactions to Venom and A Star is Born, as well as trailers for Aquaman, Rocketman, a new Spider-Man, and more. Let's get started.
This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome, everyone, to Off the Break Podcast. I'm Cody. With me are Kyle and Eric today.
What's up?
Hello.
I'm buzzing from watching the Aquaman trailer. I know we're going to get to that, but oh my gosh, all that footage, 5 minutes.
It's a really long trailer.
I just really
That's
wanted
Comic-Con
more.
footage right there.
Yeah.
Basically, all those people that waited at Comic-Con did not need to wait at Comic-Con.
Oh, probably not. Well, they probably got introduced to that footage with movie stars.
Oh, yeah.
Jason
there
Momoa was probably there doing
Yeah.
his awesome Jason Momoa thing.
Yeah,
so
probably.
For sure.
that's worth waiting in line for.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah,
Oh my
first
gosh.
off, we've got Kyle saw Venom and Cody saw A Star is Born.
Let's start with Venom.
Yeah,
because
let's get
Star is
that out of the
Born
way.
is awesome.
Aw.
It's such a bummer.
One word. Oh, okay. I was going to ask to sum up in
It's-
one word.
It's
Yeah.
such a bummer. I will say this. I do feel like hardcore Venom fans could end up being disappointed, but just based on my screening on opening night, it seemed like the majority of the audience did enjoy themselves. I don't know if they enjoyed themselves because they realized all the bad things that I saw of it or because they were actually genuinely having a good time. Either way, good on them. But me, not so much. There was just so much wrong in this movie that it was just so frustrating to go. It was just so frustrating to sit and watch through it all.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. Like, I'm going to see it Sunday, and
Yeah, me too.
without knowing anything about Venom, and I'm like, my expectations are very low now. So
That
I don't
might
think I'm going to be
help.
disappointed.
That might help because honestly, the buddy that I went with, he got his expectations to be pretty low, and he came out like he knew that he came out knowing that it wasn't a great movie or even a good one per se, but he was still like taking advantage of like some of the small moments that he could have had that you can have a good
Take
time
what
with.
you can get.
Yeah, so take that as a precaution. But Venom is just all over the place. Like I feel like they read a Venom comic book and they were like, okay, let's not do any of this cool stuff and let's just go balls to the wall with it and see what we can come up with. And just tonally, it's all over the place. Like it tries to be too much of a zany comedy at some points. It tries to be too much of a buddy action flick at another point. There's some horror elements that they try to go for, but it misses completely. Like it doesn't even work that well. It almost becomes laughable, like in a bad way. Tom Hardy's in a different movie compared to everyone else, and you can make the argument
That's totally
that
what I thought.
you can make the argument that it's because like he's becoming part with the symbiote. They do say symbiote, by the way. It is symbiote.
Even
in
Jenny
the movie.
Slate?
Yes.
So
By the
they
way,
did go back
By the
and
way,
reshoot
totally
it.
miscast. Like she does not have a big role in that movie, but she should not. It was anyway. Yeah, just you can make the argument that he's bonding with the symbiote and he's acting crazy. Yeah, but even still, it's still a weird performance that he gives. He's still a great actor, but that performance you can look at and just be like, that might be a miss on his part. So it's frustrating because it's not. I do think hardcore fans will have a hard time with this movie just because it won't be the Venom movie that they want. But I don't think Sony really knew like how to make this movie, so they just tried a little bit of everything and mushed it all together to make just a weird cluster of things. Like I'll go more to it on my written review. It'll be up later today.
My biggest question, because one of my biggest gripes about Spider-Man 3 is Venom.
Oh yeah,
Aside from the fact, it's just terrible.
It's totally
But-
shoved in.
But like the majority of the time Venom's actually on screen, you don't even see Venom. It's Topher Grace's face with the symbiote around him.
oh, true.
In this one, do we see a lot of like actual cool full Venom, or is he always
yes.
peeling back to show Tom Hardy's face talking from underneath?
No, you do get a lot of the look of Venom, but the CGI is mostly bad that it's kind of frustrating to look
Oh.
at. Like seriously, there's moments where like the symbiote is just being like the symbiote ooze type thing, and it moves around, and it reminded me of those pipes on like the screensavers on like Windows 98 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of looking like that, but with like a glowing after effect on it. It was just stuff like that where I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, how do you... I get like it's tough to do that type of stuff, but come on. Like, it's... So, like, you do get moments where you do see a lot more of like the actual Venom look, but it's frustrating because at the same time you're being taken out of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's because it just does not look that good. Like, honestly, I might almost... I just saw Spider-Man 3, like, before this, and I almost think the CGI for Venom then looks better still than this did.
Jeez.
Like, that's a very big hot take, but I honest
like
to
a
God
pretty bad
believe
movie.
that.
Yeah.
It's not... it's so frustrating.
Sounds like Cody saw the better movie this
I
week.
Yes, and I
did.
hope
Last
that I
night.
can see it at some point during this weekend, so that way I
Right.
can make up for it.
Yes, you definitely need to go
Yes.
see this movie.
Mhm.
So I went and saw A Star Is Born. I had not seen any of the other versions of this movie, so I didn't know what the story was. I just knew that Lady Gaga was in it, and Bradley Cooper, and that it was Bradley Cooper's directorial debut. So, and then what I had seen from the trailer, so I knew
Pretty
that
ambitious first movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
true.
some ways it's ambitious, in other ways it's like a safe bet because the story's so
True, yeah.
so
it's a
good.
tried and true.
Yeah, and it had been done before, and so you know, it's not like a Training Wheels first directorial
No,
thing.
I mean,
you could really crash and burn
it's
it,
like
but
a
it
once
was,
a generation thing, and I guess
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I'll take on this generation's A Star Is Born.
right.
I think he did say that a bunch of people were trying to persuade him to not. Like, no, dude, what do you think? Are you crazy? You don't want this to be your first movie.
Oh, well, I have lots of really great things to say. We'll go very much in depth into it next week after Kyle and Eric are able to see it. But for my early first reactions, that I was just blown away by how talented and amazing both Bradley Cooper is and Lady Gaga. I always knew Lady Gaga was super talented, and at her core, she's just oozes this really authentic talent that you don't see in her like music videos or her theatrics, but I've always been a really big fan of her. Especially she did a long time ago, she did an interview with Howard Stern, and she just played without, on his Sirius XM show.
Oh, yeah,
And she just played the piano and sang, and it was just so good. I could not turn it off.
She's like the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's kind of sad because I'm like, she does this like dance music, all theatrics. I'm like, you don't need that. Like, you are just so good, bare bones. So I knew that her singing would be really good in this, and it is. It's phenomenal. I was so surprised by how well Bradley Cooper sings and plays the guitar in this.
Yeah, I mean, even from that trailer, he seems
Yeah.
completely believable.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I feel like it's all in one take. You don't ever feel that they pieced together takes or had a track over. It's very...
Oh, his singing?
Yeah, it's very authentic, and his playing the guitar, all of it is just so raw. And
He learned all that, right?
Yeah, no, that was a huge
Yeah.
thing that came from Lady Gaga at the beginning. She's like, okay, you're going to help me act the best I can, and I'm going to help you do music the best I can, because we're not dubbing it. We're not doing any of that.
no, and you
Because
can
people
tell.
will tell.
And I think that is literally the best part of the whole movie, is just how real it feels.
Are the songs good?
The songs are all really good. The lyrics are all really good. And they all add to the story in really good ways.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in it, so at least I thought there was, and which was really nice. It was true storytelling with real characters and real build up. I have a lot of feelings about how it kind of like how it ends and stuff, but
Oh, I'm sure
overall-
it's a divisive ending.
it is. But overall, the first
Divisive.
it is, and we'll go into it next week.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, it's just so well done and amazing. And the first half of the movie, the music and their story is so good. And yeah, I have nothing but good things. I think that all of the hype is definitely justified. Like, I tried not to go in with too high expectations, because you don't want to be disappointed by something. But it was definitely really good, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Do you think the Oscar buzz for this is real then?
Oh my
after
gosh.
seeing it?
I think after seeing it, they definitely deserve to be recognized for their performances, both Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like going to be the best picture of the year? Probably, I don't know. Probably not. Maybe not.
Possible
Although if it was,
nomination.
if it was,
Oh,
I
I'm
would,
sure it'll.
I would
at least
fully support that 100% if it was. But for her to have no acting, prior to this and then come in and give that performance, and the same for him for the music side, is just, that to me is like what true actors and stuff should be recognized for, is that dedication to those characters.
Oh yeah.
Well, that sounds a lot more fun than what I did.
Yeah.
But no, that I can't wait to see it now, especially after
Right.
hearing what you have to say.
I know, and I don't like dramatic movies. I tend to like the lighthearted, fair, I don't know, but this was so good. I definitely recommend it for everybody.
Yeah, then definitely Eric and I think could enjoy this because we're more on the dramatic
I've been looking
movie
forward
side
to it
of things.
forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Especially after the trailer that they dropped, like we were sold from the get-go.
oh yeah. And I can't wait to talk after you guys see it about, how he shot certain scenes and the camera angles he used, because I feel it all created just this different tone in the story and different visual storytelling that
I'm sure he
found super intriguing.
planned everything out.
Did his camera work feel like it was from a first-time director? Or did it feel like from a
No.
legitimate?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first part, the only thing that was difficult is it starts out and it's like a concert, and so you can tell that the camera was on stage with him, because I know they shot that live in front of a real like music festival. They're like, hey, by the way, we're gonna shoot this scene and stuff. So you have a lot of concert lighting and angles that wash out kind of what you're seeing, but the music is so good.
Well, I'm sure that's completely the point. Too.
Yeah. And you kind of get so sucked into the music and the feeling, the crowd cheering, that's okay. But there's a couple scenes where obviously they're holding the camera and it shakes a little, it gets a little fuzzy because the actors are moving and like a really intense
it's probably
scene.
just handheld.
Yeah.
At certain spots.
But it's not like blatant,
no.
total shake cam.
No,
Because I
this
had
is-
that at Venom, and that was a nightmare.
No, this was really
Sorry,
good.
I don't mean to keep going back to it.
Yeah, no, the quality of everything was really good.
Oh, awesome.
The lighting, the mood, it was just it feels like an independent film with some unique artistic touches, but totally a commercial storyline with really good commercial characters. So
I think that would help them with general audiences
yes,
be able to connect to it more.
yes, there was definitely a good diverse group of people in the theater in my showing last night. It wasn't like just all women, or it was young and old, men and women, and there was definitely not a dry eye afterwards.
Oh. Well, that's not good. That sounds depressing.
No.
Oh, those are the best
No,
kinds.
those are-
It's
it's
the
the
best
best
kinds
kind of
endings.
movie.
Yes.
So
It's the power of cinema.
Yeah.
it definitely won't be the number one film this weekend. I think Venom will be the number one, but I really see it having legs and
Yeah,
You know.
that's what I've been saying for a while. I think it'll outlast it.
Yeah,
I'd-
for sure. I could
although-
easily see Venom having more than a 50% drop like next weekend. That might be a little biased, but I could see that happening.
Really did not like that
So
movie.
it's
watch. I'm
It's
gonna go see it this
frustrating.
weekend and be like, I don't know what your problem was.
then
It was
that
wonderful.
Then that will definitely be a discussion then.
It was better than Black Panther.
Yeah, that's. Hope it's not.
It is
hope,
my
but-
number one Marvel film now.
Yeah, I'll probably just be like, "What are you talking about?"
Usurped Captain America. He's just such a good character.
Oh, wow. I don't. Well, I don't know. Maybe that will happen. We'll have
Yeah.
to see. But
Well, Aquaman. That's another
Oh my
superhero
gosh,
related
yes.
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
speaking of the superheroes,
Go see those movies this weekend for sure, and we'll have a more in-depth discussion on Stars Born next week. But now let's savor that 5 minutes of Aquaman footage we got today.
5 minutes.
Felt
So good.
longer than 5 minutes.
It did. Yeah. After.
Eric.
I mean, I was enjoying
No,
myself.
it was cool.
but-
It was cool. It was just there's a reason why trailers aren't usually that long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, this was
I
definitely
wished it
for
was longer.
Comic-Con.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
It was
just
like-
want,
it felt
let's
like
just
a
have the whole movie.
I want the
It was
whole
like-
movie.
It was like a scene from the movie
Yeah.
and then like a traditional trailer and then like another scene from the movie.
Yeah,
And
that's basically what it felt like.
yeah.
But
I don't know.
It kind
I
of
thought it looked cool. It looked like a
it definitely helped show how big scale like this movie is going to be, especially with
Sure.
all like the sets of Atlantis, of all of that stuff. But I also think that it showed this great dynamic between Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, because they're going to be like the main characters that we're going to follow throughout this movie, because they're going on some adventure, I guess, like not just in the water, but also on land. And so we kind of need that relationship to work well. And I feel like after this, like we're definitely going to get a pretty good one between the two.
Yeah.
I hope they don't have too many like funny back and forths banter.
I have a feeling
I wasn't
I have a
totally buying
feeling.
that. But
Yeah.
What? I liked it. I feel like his attitude and character are totally
Like
the
the-
same, and that's the character that I want him to be.
Like his something trident line. I was like, that was really lame.
Eric's just like, come on.
No, I thought the trailer was really cool though. It does look like, well, you can obviously tell they're going all in on the whole Atlantis like look and bringing it to
Oh, yeah.
life.
And it looks so good.
Well,
Like I was blown away by how good it looked.
and just the whole thing the thing as a whole has a totally different like look or aesthetic than any of the other DC movies.
It was a little bit
Oh, yeah.
shinier than what I was expecting, but
Atlantis.
I'm
I like
okay
it.
with that.
I like it. Like I think this works perfectly with what direction DC or whatever direction DC is trying to go in. Like at least they're brightening up the lights a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brighten
And
up the lights a bit in the
Not
studio.
afraid to just put in the actual like suits as they look in the comics and not
He looks great.
think
in the
they
suit.
look cheesy.
Yeah. I was I didn't know if they were gonna give him the suit or not, but looking at him now, I was like, man, that looks great.
He
Like,
looked pretty cool. I thought that the bad guys looked way cooler.
You didn't
Black
like how
Manta?
man, I love how Black Manta looks.
He looked super cool. Like I said, they look like Power Rangers to me.
You did
but that's
say
not a
that,
bad
yeah.
thing. It's just these. It's probably because they're not CG, so I'm kind of used to seeing just kind of CG drone like
Yeah.
generic bad guys. But this, they're doing like martial arts and sparks are flying when they get hit. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
totally Power Rangers.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from on that, but
Well, someone who didn't grow up with Power Rangers because I was too young. In the thing,
It looks
yeah.
like Power Rangers.
It doesn't look like Power Rangers.
Yes, it does.
It looks so good.
Yeah, Power Rangers was so good.
sure.
It's a compliment, I swear.
I just didn't
Yeah.
grow up with Power Rangers in general, so I never latched on to
Yeah.
watching those. But no, I mean, I'm really excited for what James Wan is going to bring to Aquaman. I hope that it is as good as the trailers look, but
Yeah.
Too.
you know,
I'm
anything
definitely
can
gonna see it
happen.
for my birthday. Like I like to go to
Perfect
my
timing.
birthday's right after Christmas, and I like to go to a movie every year on my birthday.
Yeah,
And I went to, and it's never failed me except for when I went and saw Force Awakens, and I watched Han Solo die on my birthday, and I was like, no, I do not like this. This has ruined it. And so I got to be really careful now, and I am so excited to go see this one on my birthday. I'm
well,
like,
I don't think Aquaman's going to die in
No.
this, so you might be safe.
I think it'll be fine.
no one kills Aquaman.
At worst, Nicole Kidman may die. At worst,
Yeah.
just saying,
she
the
looked
mom-
really good as
she
mom.
does look really. She was doing like an action,
Yeah.
the twirl thing.
I know
with
she
her
was
staff
beating
thing.
up
I don't
bad
even know.
guys.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, go mom.
well, yeah, I
The-
love it. Like, I can't wait to see. Like, they were teasing a bit about like what Atlanteans can do with water and water bending, I guess you can call it. And like they showed a snippet of that, and I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's cool that they're going all in on the lore of Atlantis in those comics.
Yes.
So
I think I just need a new superhero that I don't know anything about so badly, and this one seems so fun with such good attitude, like
No, that's a good
badassness
point,
about
yeah.
him, that I'm just so excited for it.
Well, I'm glad you guys thought that trailer was like the best thing ever.
it was the best thing ever. It was just surprising by how much they showed us.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
I do
That is
wonder
true.
if they're gonna give us like a regular trailer after that.
Yeah, like a 2.5 minute thing. I would think they can't. I can't see them playing that
Oh no, that's
behemoth before every movie.
No, they're not.
It-
Gonna
yeah,
do that.
I mean that's true.
Yeah,
But still,
definitely
that
I
was
feel like that would backfire. People would be like, okay,
just
I'm
like
s-
5 minutes because
I
there's
feel like
already
I've
so
s-
many trailers.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this movie the amount of times I've seen this 5 minute long trailer.
Yeah, exactly. So probably still stick with the older one until like a new final trailer actually happens.
But Rocket Man, I know it was just the teaser trailer. but
I'm so excited for that one too. Like
I thought it was really really cool from what
Very
little it
impressed by
showed.
I love how great Taron Egerton looks in this.
He
like
looks amazing.
I think he can easily be a leading man in just about any movie since I saw him in Kingsman, and like I think it cemented him more as that in Kingsman 2, despite it not being a great movie, but he was like one of the best parts of it. And he just looks terrific leading this as Elton John. Like his singing, it doesn't sound like Elton John, but it sounds at least as close as it's gonna get. And I think he just sounds terrific.
I thought he sounded really good. Like I
sure.
I didn't feel like, oh, that's somebody else singing Elton John. I felt it was really close. He looks so similar. If he didn't have such a pronounced jawline, he would be Elton John in that trailer. Like you can see it a little bit,
definitely,
which is fine. But I think Elton John's such an enigma, and the music's all gonna be so good in it because who doesn't like Elton John? So and the set pieces look sparkly and dazzling, and just what you want to see from an Elton John movie. So
makes me wonder if studios are gonna start like going down the list of like almost like branding classic musicians or in movies based on musicians.
Right, because
between like Bohemian Rhapsody and now we have Rocket Man, I could totally see like next year they'll have a Prince movie trailer and then they'll have like a Michael Jackson movie trailer,
John Lennon trailer,
or Beatles, or you get the Rolling Stones guys or Aerosmith, some of that.
An Aerosmith one would be pretty
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, but they got to have good stories, and
they all have good stories.
I think
you can make good stories out of any of that.
Right.
Yeah, Elton John probably would be one that I wouldn't think of as like wanting to see a backstory on him, but after seeing just like a
lot of cocaine
scenes,
use.
yeah, exactly. But even still though, like I just never really thought of it. But after seeing just like this only 1 minute teaser, but I'm already like, I need to learn more about this guy. And what a better way to do it than with a movie.
Well, I saw Elton John, I think last year he came through and had a concert here, and he was phenomenal. You could definitely tell like he's getting older, but he played for several hours straight and did an encore, and he just was fantastic. And there wasn't a lot of talking during the concert. You know, sometimes they take breaks and talk, and this was song after song. He was like a powerhouse of just turning out the music, and it was all so good. So
I hate it when concerts have them just talk for like monologues on end, and you're just like, okay, like I just want to listen to your music. I want to, like, it gets annoying. Like not all of them do it, but at least with Elton, like he doesn't at all.
He didn't. No, he had this sparkly jacket on and his stuff. So yeah, it was good to see him, and that was a really fun concert. So I feel like I'm invested in this movie now.
I can relate.
Yeah, when does it come out? Next year in May?
Yeah.
Still a ways out. Oh, wow.
I know, it's pretty early for a teaser trailer, but I think they want to get it on the marketing for this year's Oscars. So to get it just in your conscience when you're thinking about this year's Oscar films.
Like, think about the possibility that will be in next year's Oscars or...
Yeah, that's good marketing.
That is a good way of thinking of it.
Definitely targeting the right audiences.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm sure everyone's going to associate that with Bohemian Rhapsody at this point in time. Which I think I could see Fox doing like an awards push for that movie.
I think they will. Yeah, definitely. And maybe Sony will try to next year, but it just depends on how well it actually turns out to be.
Then we had a couple of kind of new trailers drop for, The Mule and Vice, which are
both. I thought they were both fantastic trailers.
Right.
Both could be possible Oscar caliber films as well.
So Clint Eastwood returns in The Mule.
He hasn't acted since Trouble with the Curve in 2012.
Really? That was the last one?
Because he's been doing some directorial stuff.
Yeah, I remember at one point, I don't know if it was ever like, if he officially said it, but I thought I read that he was doing I'm retiring from acting after this.
But only doing directing.
But we all know they always come back.
They always come back.
Robert Redford has already backtracked on his, this one's my last film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize that it had been that long. I miss seeing Clint Eastwood on screen.
And it was such a great surprise too. Like all of a sudden the trailer just dropped and you're like, Clint Eastwood's back, and it looks terrific, of course.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, the trailer itself I thought looked really, really good.
It's gonna be a sad, depressing film, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I kind of got like a Breaking Bad vibe.
Yeah, he looked so old in it, though. I know he plays an old character and he is old, but it just was like he looked so frail, and I think it.
That's what
Eric
happens.
mentioned it. I think it will probably add to that character, you believing that this is this old man
Yeah.
that's working for a drug cartel.
Like he's been through so much that it's just you can just tell like he's just been beaten from it, and all
Yeah,
he
he's
wants to do
probably
is
like,
make
you know what?
amends for it.
Screw it.
Yeah,
I'll, I don't know, peddle drugs for these gangs.
right. No, and the
What
cast,
else have I done?
the cast around him looks great. Like Bradley Cooper's in it, Michael Pena, Lawrence Fishburne is in it too, and they only were given, just glimpses where they were just like looking at one another, so you can't really tell if they're going to be really good or not. But you can at least take a guess that a cast that talented will be able to pull out something great,
Yeah.
especially under Eastwood.
Yeah. I think he's directing it too, right?
Yeah,
And then we had The Vice with Christian Bale playing Vice President Dick Cheney.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and Sam Rockwell
like
as
so
Bush.
long ago, there was those first looks at Christian Bale, like gaining the
Gaining
weight
weight,
for
yeah.
Dick
Right.
Cheney. It's like, oh, Christian Bale, why are you doing this again? You're gonna destroy that body.
yeah, that's gonna
He was
bite him in the butt someday.
well, but he was so unrecognizable. Like I did not see any Christian Bale in that character.
It
at
took
all.
me a
Like,
while to realize it too. Yeah,
If I hadn't known it was him, there'd be no way I could guess. Like Sam Rockwell as Bush, you can kind of hear it in the voice and see in the mannerisms. Christian
sure.
Bale just melds into that Dick Cheney.
He's
Oh,
so
he looked
good
so
at
good.
that.
Yeah, he looked so good.
like
and that
every
voice.
just about every movie Bale is in, like he gives 110% to where he's unrecognizable. Like he's just that good of an actor.
Well, I love that Adam McKay obviously liked all of the people that were in The Big Short, his last movie.
Yeah, that
And
was
he's just like, okay, you guys are coming back.
that was such a big
Let's
surprise.
tackle
for
this
him,
story
too.
now.
Yeah,
But I like because Christian Bale obviously had a big role in that, but he didn't interact with any of the other people.
right.
But now in this one, we're going to be able to see him play off of those other actors with Adam McKay's direction.
yeah,
So I
and
think that'll be really entertaining to see.
I'm excited to see Adam McKay tackle another political story
Yeah,
because it was so surprising to see how well he handled The Big Short. Like
Yeah.
especially like with his previous resume, you're like, how does he go from like
the guy who made
the
Anchorman
comedies
is now
to-
being nominated for Best Director.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're all like, we can't wait to see the next Adam McKay drama. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be comedy influences in there as well, but for the most part,
Okay,
it's like
the trailer was
drama.
funny. Like
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the
hilarious.
juxtaposition of Christian Bale's Dick Cheney that was serious and kind of calculating with this bumbling like Sam Rockwell, like
Yeah,
George Bush character, and you just almost feel so sympathetic to George Bush's character because you're like, this man is like manipulating you in a really terrible way. But
Oh, I can't
you
wait.
enjoy it. It's delicious to watch on screen.
I definitely think McKay won't hold back on addressing that.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like it looked partisan at all. And I know that you can't tell a whole movie
No,
by the
I don't-
trailer,
Right,
but I
right.
feel like it took elements of real life and just made it this kind of crazy story.
Well, yeah, I think Adam, at least with The Big Short, he doesn't really have to take
No.
one side or the other. You just, the story is ridiculous as it already is. He's just, gonna show you how ridiculous it is.
He also did a great job like explaining to the audience like what everything meant during the crashing that was happening, and like he explained like,
You mean the
like, all
Margot Robbie in a
weird-
bathtub?
Yeah, well, I
scene?
mean, that's great to see and all, but at the same time though, like the way that he just like addressed it and helped the audience along, you're just like, oh, it was able to connect with
Yeah,
them
no, it's a
little bit better.
very, very complicated issue, and
Yeah.
he was able to get it across in layman's
Yeah.
terms to the best of his ability.
And I feel like he could probably do that same thing, that same kind of, not that same kind of storytelling, but be able to help an audience that doesn't get it
Oh, I'm
be
sure.
able to understand a bit better.
Yeah. Without being so partisan. I don't know. I just feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
given the political climate today with
Oh, yeah.
this story doesn't seem like it's being on one side or the other. It just seems like it was just having these
Just a
crazy
fu-
characters
yeah.
that you're just like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do next?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, growing up, I heard the names and all that, but
Right.
nobody cares about politics when they're growing up. But now I guess I never realized I would be excited for a movie about Dick Cheney. It's like, oh, I'm like, cool.
I know.
I know he like shot a guy and that's it.
Yeah.
With a shotgun too.
Yeah.
They did show a little bit of that.
I'm
They did
hoping
show
that
happening.
that hunting
Oh, you
scene
can't
is
have
him
it-
shooting somebody.
You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
have a Dick Cheney movie and not have that.
No, that it's definitely gonna happen. Like Adam McKay probably read a little bit more about that and was like, I know exactly how I'm gonna shoot this. So I'm
Been
looking
waiting my
forward to
whole
that.
career for this.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's the defining scene.
Mhm. No, I that was another surprise one, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think the mule seems a little dramatic and tough. Like probably not
little.
my movie that
Yeah.
I would want to go see, but Vice definitely seems like something I'd be more open to
Yeah.
seeing just for what I like in movies.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that one. And then we've got two last trailers. One was the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, kind of the final trailer before we get into the holiday season. And
Yeah.
I think this was the best trailer out of all the ones we've seen because it just showed so much more of the story and
Yeah.
a little bit more of the aesthetic of the animation and stuff. But you got way more characters in it, and I liked that so much more.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're embracing this whole Spider-Verse aspect that came from the comics, and like they're just gonna go all in. And you can especially go all in by having animation where you are unlimited to what you can do as compared
Yeah.
to like a live action setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like not only are they embracing that, but they're also embracing like a different style of animation that they think can work well with this type
I
of
think
story.
I loved it since that first trailer, and I
Yeah.
think it's only gotten better.
Mhm.
Really, I see it. That first couple trailers, I was really hesitant about it, mostly because they didn't have a lot of the story, and so it looked darker. Like the first trailer had a darker tone.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
And
sure.
so I was like, this doesn't appeal to little kids. And if you're not, and it's at Christmas, and if you're not gonna do that, then I don't know where its place is really gonna be.
Yeah, that's fair.
But this trailer showed more of the story, and while I still think it looks like it's more for an older audience, like teenagers,
Yeah.
than little kids, I think you could probably get away with it being an all audience movie.
Right.
But at Christmas time, with as packed as you are on everything else, I hope there's room for it there.
Yeah, it is a good point. It is getting pretty packed.
Because you got Mary Poppins for like the family little kid stuff,
Mhm.
and then you're really splitting the PG-13 teenager and up audience between Aquaman and Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And then you've got Holmes and Watson for your maybe R-rated comedy stuff at the end. So it's just
yeah, that's right.
So
Forgot
much,
about that one.
there's so much going on
Mhm.
that if it tends to be more PG-13 and older audience, now it's really competing with Bumblebee and Aquaman for that. And if it's trying to be more for the little kids, I don't know, maybe Mary Poppins. I don't know if you take it over Mary Poppins and Disney at Christmas. It's just very
Yeah.
confusing in what you're going to do with this film.
If I've learned anything from trying to predict how animated movies are projected to at box offices this
Right.
past year, is to never doubt an animated movie. So I wouldn't be too shocked if it was able to go to number one, but I don't know. I feel like with the power of Disney, Mary Poppins could also take number one. But you are right. Like
It's a tough
so
Christmas this year.
yeah, it's so competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like
There's not even a Star Wars movie.
No.
yeah. Imagine if there was a Star Wars movie.
I think if there was, you wouldn't have these other films. Is the
Probably
problem? They
not.
saw a void with
Yeah,
no
they're like,
Star
whoa,
Wars.
a year without Star Wars.
I know.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
throw it all
Yeah,
in.
we gotta take our chance, claim
yeah,
our spot.
exactly.
Reclaim the title.
Everybody
Mhm.
dogpiled in.
Yeah.
That's not that. Yeah, that's true. Even Disney dogpiled on themselves. They're like, we don't have a Star Wars movie there. Mary Poppins, go! Like they toss that in there too. Yeah, I mean, I hope that it finds a place and it finds a market because I have a good feeling about this.
I'm kind of glad Solo ended up not being there because as bad as it did, can you imagine if you had picked Solo all over any of those other films? It's probably
Depends on how good they are,
yeah, it's probably a good thing that it wasn't at Christmas.
but it also probably hurt it as
a little
well.
bit, yeah. It
Oh,
hurt
Solo.
it haven't been in theaters, the
Yeah.
length of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I guess we just have the upside.
Yeah.
This
So
has been in
yeah.
the works for a while because they
So-
used to
Oh,
pull out the
Weinstein
Weinstein
Company.
Yeah.
Well, I got introduced to this trailer last night at my Star is Born screening, and I was like watching, and I didn't know about it, and I was watching this, and I'm like, they've done this movie before. I have seen this almost this exact trailer and story before somewhere, and I was remembering that Untouchables film that
Yeah,
was
the French movie.
the French
Yeah.
movie.
It's a remake of that. Yeah.
I had played that for a lot of art series, and a couple years ago.
Right.
And so I was like, I know that they remade this
Yeah.
movie, and the trailer is just so like there are elements in that trailer that are exactly like
beat for beat.
yeah.
It's probably going to be that type of remake. It's not going to be like, we're going to do a remake, but we're going to do it in our own image. No, it's probably like, we're going to make a remake and make some cash.
We're like, oh, here's the French script. Let's convert it to
Yeah.
English, add a little bit of Kevin Hart dusting in it and his humor, and then we have our new movie.
The Untouchables came from Weinstein as well, I believe.
did.
So it's not too surprising that they were just like, sure, just remake it for America and do the same thing. Whatever. Like, it's fine. And then, everything happened. And now it's over to XTX, right?
Yeah.
I think it's at STX now.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's who's distributing
I think it's dropping in January, so
Eh.
I'm not sure.
Well,
Their confidence in it.
it's...
Because I know the original one was, I think it did really well.
It's very
And people seem to
popular.
like it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Cody's had bookings of it.
Yeah, it
in
did pretty
art
well.
house
It's just it
theaters.
was French and subtitle, and that's hard
Yeah.
for some audiences. So I
For sure.
get remaking it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart appeared like they have really great chemistry.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty easy story to redo and put anybody in.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I guess it makes sense.
But at least those two personalities will be able to get some kind of attention.
Yeah. But if you ever want, go check out the Untouchables trailer and then go watch Upside. It is just so similar.
Yeah.
It's great. Like there are exact duplicate scenes in it. And I'm like, please don't remake movies and just copy the scene from the other one. Like you can have the same story and some of the same dialogue and events happening. Just at least shoot it from a different angle or
Yeah.
something.
If it
Anyways,
works, it works.
But
yeah.
yeah, but I'm not really taking too much stock into it. Like, it's not one of my most anticipated for next year, and
Nope.
and it's also coming out in January. Like, that's kind of a dumping
kinda
ground.
interesting
There's
to-
some enigmas, but
Yeah.
it's partially a
I was
dumping
kind of
ground.
interested to see Kevin Hart not be over the top, like
That
slapstick
was the main
comedy.
thing I was
Yeah.
getting from it. I was
I
like,
did
because
fall-
it still looks very lighthearted and comedic,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
not in a not in an obnoxious.
Where they make fun of his
Physical
height
humor
or how
kind- yeah.
little he is. No, this was just like he is just a person, and I did like that.
He was advertising for it recently, and he was saying that this was his first dramatic role and that he was excited for. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like, he hasn't done any. He's only does comedy, so it will be interesting to see how good he is as a dramatic actor. Because some comedians can surprise you with how good of a dramatic.
Like
chops they
Bryan
have.
Cranston.
Bryan Cranston, yeah, Steve Carell, Jim Carrey, yeah, it's a long list. So maybe he's gonna be a part of it soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Aquaman, we are all excited for it. Even Eric.
Yes, even Eric.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Power
Aquaman.
Rangers ripoff.
Go see Star is Born and savor it. Not very many films are as well done as that. So.
Take a chance on Venom if you want.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
After your glowing review, I'm sure a lot of people will.
Glowing, just with glitter and rays of sun beaming down on it and everything.
All right. Well, have a good weekend, everyone. Take care.
See ya.